Okay, ladies and gentlemen, STK coming at you live, episode 27, taking no prisoners. Tonight, it's just another dynamic duo. Got my brother Coach B in the building. What's going on, Coach?
Sir, kind of feeling like LeBron, making a different duo every year, every episode. Now all is well.
That's what's
all
up.
You guys. Appreciate you.
That's what's up.
Shout out to you, bro.
And shout out to you. And of course, it's Just.Hek. We're gonna get into it tonight. Play in action started yesterday. If you were living under a rock,
a lot of stuff.
Minnesota beat the Clippers in a thrilling victory that gave off championship vibes. Gave off championship vibes. Shout out to Minnesota. That's what you do when you're young and you ain't really made it to the playoffs, man. You celebrate like that. There's levels to it, man. There's levels.
It's not to get punched the next time you get out there.
Hey, listen, man. It's what it is. You gotta have some enthusiasm with it. You know, I listen. Every young team in history, they get that first W to either to make it in or to basically the playoff. The play-in is like a prelude to the playoffs. So, I was with it. I loved it. I had no issues with it. And then in that first game, Brooklyn easily handled Cleveland, although it was close towards the end, but it wasn't really close. Like it was like, okay, it was what it was. But what has been your thoughts so far on the play-in action? Not the playoffs, just the play-in.
Brooklyn took care of business. They're gonna need Seth Curry or Patty Mills to play better. Just to be that third option to help them a lot. I love the Boston matchup. I think
it's intense.
Marcus Smart being able to limit Kyrie in some capacity. Like everyone thinks Kyrie is this unstoppable force, which he is, but Marcus Smart is that immovable object, and like
when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Another Batman reference? Is that what we're doing? Okay.
So, just Marcus Smart getting Defensive Player of the Year consideration, big deal for being a guard and the way he dominates the game in that fashion. And just that what he can do with his size, like 6'3", 6'4", 225, 230-ish. Like, he's going to be able to beat Kyrie up a little bit. And Kyrie has counters on counters, which is great. But it's going to be a fun matchup to see who could impose their will, because if Kyrie shoots less than 50%, Marcus Smart did his job, and like that's where it starts. And if Kyrie shoots less than at 40 or less, then Marcus Smart, held it down. He did everything that he could do on his end. And then I definitely think the wing matchup of Tatum and KD is going to be fun. And then Jaylen Brown is that who's going to guard me? How do I get my baskets? Because Bruce Brown is good, but he's not Jaylen Brown. So And then if Andre Drummond could score, that changes everything, but I doubt it. And if Ben Simmons plays, then forget it. Pencil him in the finals. We'll see. They still got a long,
Yeah. My first question to you is, and I asked this jokingly in our text chat chain, is Drummond their third star? Does he count as a third star for them?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Like always at the top of the rebounds,
Former All-Star.
One time All-Star? I think so.
Probably, yeah. One or two.
Double guy. Yeah. So until Ben Simmons comes back.
Oh, then he becomes the fourth star?
Yeah. I mean, it isn't terrible. I like his game. He's a decent decision maker. He's been on Shaq than a fool, but overall, he's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I be honest with you. the 2-7 matchup this year is very intriguing. It's probably going to be the most exciting of all the playoffs or until the finals, because in the East it's Boston and BK, and in the West it's Memphis and Minnesota.
Yeah.
Boston and Brooklyn is like the two powerhouse. It's like Durant is the guy right now, but Jason Tatum is like the guy in waiting.
Yeah,
and
that battle of,
and they can't stop each other.
It's like
they can't stop each other. Like it's no one's stopping KD right now, but Tatum is equally nasty. Like he again last year they played each other, and he was dropping buckets. They couldn't do nothing with him. So I think that series.
You're trading baskets.
I definitely agree with you in that the series probably comes down to Jaylen Brown and Bruce Brown, where, if Jaylen Brown doesn't have his way in that matchup, it could pose a problem for the Celtics. And if Kyrie isn't slowed down, if Marcus Smart can get Kyrie to shoot like 45%, then that's pretty good. But Kyrie isn't a volume shooter like that. Like he's
at the moment.
He's high IQ right now. And I like the way you say it at the moment, because he's pretty high IQ. Like a lot of his shots come at his comfortability level. Or he'll know like
the 15 assists and the 11 assists, cool. Mm-hmm. But again, like it's a young Cleveland team, against a
definitely
structured,
definitely
that knows your sets a lot more, because they played you 4 times this year. They played you last year in the playoffs. So
and then we have that other matchup in the West, it's Memphis and Minnesota. And to me, that's like a grown-up AAU game. Like, I don't listen. It is not going to be. It is not going to be, to me. It is not going to be like a playoff game. It's going to be like roll the ball out and who gets busiest most. And because both, to me, in my opinion, you got two teams who are not experienced. So they don't really get playoff basketball. They don't get that it's possession by possession.
Yeah, Pat Bev leads you, but the way the adrenaline is going to be flowing, like they're just going up and down. And
Pat Bev's a maniac. Like
should be a lot of buckets, and
like
40.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards might get 40. Like,
oh yeah, definitely.
Like,
it's one of those things where it's gonna be. I'm gonna love it, man. I hope it goes 7 games, but it probably won't. I hope it does, man, because that's, to me, is probably gonna be more exciting just because of the youth factor. You got Ja Morant, who is probably gonna snag a couple of MVP votes. And then you got Edwards, who's up and coming. Like and his mentality, he's got to kill his mentality.
That's it.
And so man, he's got to kill his mentality. So I think that is an interesting matchup. And it's the rest of the playoffs. I think I'm happy that the playoffs are here. It's saddening a little bit for me that the Knicks aren't in it, because New York, it's springtime, it's rocking. The chance to be able to get lucky and get playoff tickets is not in the, it's not gonna happen. You gotta wait a whole year, or not a whole year, but a couple months for the next season to start. But so you had a list of topics that were pretty dope. Yes. And so starter of the year award. Explain that one, and are we talking about the Knicks, or are we talking about the league?
I mean, for the home team, like it's like we had a lot of changes. Tibbs obviously ran the same horses for a long time, but then people started getting hurt. We had a few COVID call outs. things like that. So like definitely, and just like gelling between the different leaders, I guess, at whatever point, you know, whether it be RJ or Kimba or Julius Randle bringing the ball up, there's definitely has to be someone that stood out amongst the rest. And obviously, like, I don't know if everybody's watching, Julius Randle is not going to get this award. You know, he's just not kind of a leader.
Who gets this award from you?
I want to say RJ, but like his shooting percentages are just like dropped drastically.
Okay.
It was like from the three, from 40 last year to 34 from three. So like, yes, he took a big step as far as like points per game and like rebounds are solid, but not like overwhelmed as far as like where he should be as a star. So like not just being a starter, but being a star. So that's his fault. Well, I mean, that's the issue. Like he's still developing. So okay. I'm gonna give it to Alec Burks, man. Like I think I think that for all that Tibbs like tried to do with this group, he adjusted, you know, especially when he got thrusted in there. He shot 40% from three. Right. He had, I think, like a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. And he was charged, you know, with guarding other guards. So like if you're a 40% shooter at the guard and you're stopping you're defending other guys, like it didn't translate too much. But you know, like once things started rolling, you know, we went on a little and like you could give it to Fournier, but he struggled a bit. His points are better. Well, he didn't do enough as far as his contract is concerned.
You're being controversial tonight.
Yo, as far as like for your dollar, like getting banged for your buck, man, like nobody else was to come back. He didn't give us nothing. Derrick Rose didn't give us nothing. Like, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm gonna win Alec Burks, man.
All right. I mean, it's intriguing. I mean, the highest PER on the team was Mitch Robinson with 20.7. But I think it's RJ. I think his growth into becoming a leader, despite all of the turmoil that was going around in the background noise, and him being like the lone guy, especially down the stretch, and him with the accolades, you know, one of the three youngest players.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Players have 20. Yeah. So like, whose fault is it that he didn't have the ball rolling from the jump? "Quote unquote," he was sick. He was under the weather. Julius Randle.
That's the coach, though. That's the coach. It's the coach. I mean, and in all honesty, when the Knicks played Boston in that first game, Julius looked like top 3 power forward in the league. Like he killed in that game. So, I mean, the ball should have been, but I think the ball should have been in his hands. But when you got to make adjustments and you got to start, so you also have to start integrating players. And again, you know, RJ, his PER is low, 13.7. He averaged 20, a flat 20, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. His game, you know, his turnover ratio is not great, but he's making strides to get better. And I don't know, he's the future, you know. And I don't know, Alec Burks, I just saw too much him missing wide open players and him being like, "Yo, my bad." And it's like, how many times are you gonna do that again?
Yeah, that's on the fly. Like, I'm sorry, Kimba didn't work out. Kimba, it's not your fault. But you know, Burks got thrusted in, and he had to adjust the fly. He also led the team in total steals. But Julius Randle led the team in points, rebounds, total points, rebounds, and assists.
Definitely, and he 20.1. He edged out RJ.
Yeah,
for the scoring league.
He's a trainer. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, he is. He is. I mean, he's on his way out. I think if he's there another year, the Knicks management does not know what it's doing, and
Yeah, Julius Randle meditate.
I get what you can for him now, before it's really down in the dumps, because you have to develop RJ. In my mind, RJ has to be the guy that is developed. He has, like you have to develop, and he can score now. He has belief that he can be in the league. So now you work on those other areas, and he has the talent to do so. He's not, he's not a fly by night kind of dude. This dude was the best college player in the country at one point. Until Zion exploded, but
yeah, Alec Burks, solid job. You shot 40% from the field too, but at least you shot 40% from three. You led the team in steals and a 3-to-1 a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio.
Okay,
I'll take those.
So your next topic was season-long MVP. So I don't know what you mean by that. So are we talking about the NBA, or are we talking about the Knicks?
Solely on the home team.
Okay.
We got this bum record because of this guy, like playing through all of it. And
so who's your season long MVP? Because I'm curious. You got Alec Burks as your starter of the year award. That sounds like your MVP to me. But,
man,
okay, so who's your
this?
Where are we going with this? I'm getting nervous. Where are we going?
This kid, stood on the floor and made adjustments and closed out strong. Again, Julius Randle don't get no awards for being such a trauma. All right, but quickly, man, Emmanuel quickly,
okay.
Evan Fournier could get up here as being a decent plug-in starter, but for quickly to just stay consistent and continue to grow at the same time, it's he had some lows, but it was never bad to should we trade him or should we send him down to the G League? It was just little bumps in the road. First start a few games where D Rose, then not having Rose, being that main guard off the bench, then making the adjustment from Kemba to Alec Burks and fitting in Fournier and playing well with Julius Randle and playing well with RJ Barrett. That's definitely a major key. So he fits in with everybody. He makes life easier for those big guys, Sims, Mitch, Taj a little bit, Obi, having that connection with all those guys. Yeah, quickly is he's the keeper. If I outside of RJ, quickly the keeper because he knows how to get the easy baskets for the easy guys, and and he gets out of the other guards' way.
Okay, so Clearview Daniel, shout out to Clearview. Clearview disagrees. he thinks the whole team MVP should be RJ. I tend to agree again. But I get your points. I actually didn't see it the way you saw it. And yeah, you're right. He got inconsistent playing time and still managed to sort of stay consistent. I think it's a tough award to give out on a losing team. But I think if I had to pick the shining star, especially the last stretch of the season, to me it was RJ. But I see your point. I don't disagree with what
we had to wait till February. We had to wait till February.
Yeah, because it's definitely
the greatest of him, and I
definitely
think
true.
Through.
But the key guy was always RJ down the stretch, man. I don't know.
He got work to do. Fourth quarter scoring. Quick had 10 points in 6 to 8 games in one stretch. As far as fourth quarter scoring, so little things like that.
But Quickly's not drawing the double team. RJ's drawing the double team in the fourth quarter.
Double, man.
It's RJ and Julius. They're the ones getting the attention.
RJ's not getting double. Yeah, he's attacking the paint and kicking it out.
And with homeboy on Philly kind of torching him, he was torturing him the whole season.
Yeah,
you know
but he's not playing Maxi, you know, he's still pretty solid, and he closed out strong. He closed out strong, you know.
Okay.
Like those triple doubles. Triple doubles was the icing on the cake.
Okay.
Like they're a lot more fun.
Yeah.
When he's doing what he's doing compared to what RJ's doing. Like
he
has a smooth game compared to. I'm sorry, RJ, you just stiff. You're not all the way there yet. Like the shooting percentages, both of you shooting percentages have to get better. But I hate to see. I'm not a fan of how he gets it done, but RJ does get it done.
Okay. If you had to pick a league MVP, who would your league MVP?
I want Embiid to get it because I feel like this might be his only chance.
But who do you think really deserves the MVP? Who do you think really deserves it?
Well, the Bucks are number one, right? No, the Bucks are not number one. Never mind.
Not in the whole NBA. No, not at all. Bucks are third. But they have the same record as the 76ers. They just won the tiebreaker.
Yeah. It's a toss-up, man. You could give it to Jokic for being as spectacular as he was. You could give it to Ja, like, you know, being the main guy.
He's not ready yet. I disagree with that.
Listen, number two.
Plus, his team plays better. His team plays better when he doesn't play.
He still dominated the season for when he's out there.
He dominated his team too,
like
which showed when they played better. Not being there.
The guy on the team, like
17-2 when you're not there.
I think
most valuable. It's not most valuable to me.
That has a lot to say about good coaching, but
he's gonna get some votes though. I don't disagree. I think he played tremendously. But if I had to pick, and I'm just picking off of stats, and not just the optic, but the optics also, if you want to really put it to it. Embiid had Harden. Embiid had power.
Later on, like
Embiid had star power. Well, okay, later on.
Yeah, he went on a long stretch with like.
But Jokic has been without two of his guys the whole season, and still led the Nuggets to 48 wins. And if you look at his metrics, 27 points, 14 rebounds, and I'm rounding up. I'm just rounding up. 27 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, 1.5 steals, and a little under a block a game. That is insane. That is 2K22 numbers.
It is insane. But I feel like MVP goes to the guys that are closer to the top, man. So.
But Embiid, do you think the 76ers would be as successful in the West? Come on.
I hate that.
Come on.
It don't matter where he plays. He does what he does with where he's at. Don't be mad at him because he got drafted by such and such team. Don't be mad at him because he's on such and such roster.
Come on. I'm just saying. I mean,
I'm holding on to Embiid, man. I was trying to say
like that's the feel good story, but the it's the feel good story, but in truth,
Philly don't even need it. Again, I think this would be the only time he gets it. Just
from a center standpoint at that, and he was carrying a bunch of rookies, and I mean, I don't know, man.
Back next year, he'll be back next year. His team will have a better record. This is as good as it's gonna get.
Okay.
really getting better than this. Doc Rivers
Okay.
gotta go.
Okay. Fair enough. I think we can agree. I mean, listen, if Embiid won it, I would not. If Embiid won it, I would not be mad at that either, because Embiid has been an unstoppable force at his position, and outside of the analytics, he is, to me. I mean, he's the best center, and it's a close race. Like between him and Jokic, it's very, very close. But I edge it to Embiid, and it's like by a split hair, right? It's because, I've seen Jokic turn it on, and I didn't really respect him until that bubble series against the Lakers. I thought they were going to punk him the whole series. And that first game, he got angry and ran off like 12 straight points. And I was like, oh, this kid is for real. Like, okay, like, and then continued to do that. So, I mean, it's very, very close. And if Embiid won it, kudos to him. Just like if Giannis won it, I think I wouldn't be mad at it either. Those aren't winners that I would be like, this is a sham. Clearview thinks that it's Giannis because he's taken for granted, which I do agree with. I think when you're that level of greatness and you just do it consistently, it's like, oh, he had 30-12, 2 blocks and 2 steals and 5 assists. Oh, okay, cool. If anybody else did that, you'd be like, oh my God, like, but
he's number one, like it'd be a no-brainer. Well, because due to the fact,
but he finished higher than Embiid though. His team's in a better position than Embiid's.
Yeah, but Embiid.
Listen, I get it. And Clearview's choice is Embiid. Shout out to Clearview. His choice is Embiid. He wants Embiid to win. I wouldn't be mad at that. I honestly, if he won it, I'd be like, good job. Good shit. It's well deserved. I think this is the tightest race for the MVP that we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
It's very tight. It's very tight because analytically, Jokic is the clear winner. But from the optics, Embiid is just so dominant. And then Giannis is just consistent. Like, it's just every night. He's not had a bad game and I don't know how long. And it's like, damn, like
Trae Young is sneaking some votes. Leading total points and total assists. Trae Young is about to sneak in some votes too, man.
Yeah. Who?
It's Trae Young. He's gonna sneak a lot of votes.
I don't think so. I think
total points and total assists.
I think it's a tough 3-man race, and I think maybe Ja steals a vote here and there. I think he gets a couple votes. I think he gets like 3 points, 4 points. Just because his team was just so successful when he wasn't there. And right, you could count it up to good coaching, but if you look at like the magnitude of his playing, and then I've watched them play without him, and the ball moves better. It moves a lot better when he's not there. And I used to think, oh, they needed him to create. They don't need him to create. Like, it just flows better. Like they look. They're a tough matchup without him there.
We'll see when that playoff matchup starts. Yeah. The game slows down. You got to get your guy going. Yeah. Desmond Baden is good.
Right, totally.
I don't know if he got it in the tank yet. Dylan Brooks is good. I don't know if he got it in the tank yet. Triple J, Jaren Jackson.
Right, totally.
He can't young enough for a full series to warrant taking it to the hump.
They're young.
John's about to earn his keep.
I mean, he's been earning his keep though. I think it's. I don't. I think the team just matured. And they kept the core. And they all get along, and they're a really happy-go-lucky bunch, and they play for each other. And I think that's what makes them successful, regardless of who's playing. Whether if Ja ain't in there, it's like, okay, we still going. And that makes them dangerous to a certain extent. Makes them super dangerous, but playoff basketball is different. It's different in in every form. So,
Yeah, last Jokic note, he's shooting 58. He's shooting 58%. That's like 8 points better than Embiid and Giannis, and he's never shot below 50% in his career, and he's never shot 80% from the free throw line in his career so far.
It's three really great players, man. It's a tough choice. I had to, because initially I was like, oh, this is easy. This is a B. And then I looked at Jokic's stats. I was like, oh, wait a minute. This ain't no trap. This is not an easy vote. Like the media is it's gonna be tough on them this year, man, because you got three guys that can clearly win it. That they're head and shoulders above the rest of the people that you'd want to consider. Okay. I think Trey, if even Trey is even considered, he gets one vote. And it'll be like a fourth place vote. Their record, they're in the play-in. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like he might get a consideration from a staff person in Atlanta, if that. But I think in all fairness, those votes got to go to those three guys, and it's got to be between those three guys. If Ja Morant gets a vote, cool. I mean, he played well, but I think his year is next year or the year after. I honestly believe that. I think his years are coming. He's just scratched the surface of how good he could be, which is scary. Very scary for the league.
Yeah, they're athletes, man. Stop getting hurt, yo.
Yeah.
Lillard,
take care of your body. Put money in your body.
No.
Right. So you have, okay, so this one was simple. The worst contract of this year. Oh, man. Who do you think is the worst contract of the year?
Derrick Rose never came back, and Nerlens Noel is Nerlens Noel got it. Like, he was supposed to be the guy. Shout out to the rookies for stepping up.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean,
by far.
Yeah, it never panned out, and it seemed like a great move. I agree. I honestly agree. I mean, you could. It's either Derrick Rose or Nerlens, but I would say Nerlens just because he did so well last year, and the expectation was that he would come. Like they would kind of repeat that. He just couldn't get healthy, and that might be the thing with him. Like he has a good year, then he gets hurt, then he comes back, has a good year, gets hurt again. I mean, it's trade him, get rid of him, trade him while you can.
It'll be a lot of shopping, man.
Yeah, you got pieces that. Hey, listen, you know who always takes the Knicks players? Dallas. And Jokic does wonders with them. You'd be like, yo, why he ain't do that on the Knicks?
Ridiculous.
Man, listen, yes, super ridiculous. Who are you not shopping?
Personal reasons. Mm-hmm. Cam has to work out.
Cam Reddish?
Yeah.
Cam
Reddish.
Like I don't think with this coach. It happens.
Yeah, like I just feel like Cam Reddish has to work out. Like long term. I'm holding on to the potential.
He's good, man.
He's somewhere Rudy Gay and
he's good. The kid can play. Yeah, that kid can play, man. And he's not getting a shot.
And then it's like I hate the whole the Duke factor and potential Zion, but like if they can make it happen, why not hold on to him and try to make it happen?
Who are you trading if Zion becomes a real thing? Because it kind of looks
everyone not named RJ Quickly. Man, Obi, like I hate to see you go, but
yeah, it's Zion.
yeah,
They play in the same position. Like,
yeah, so everyone not named RJ quickly, and yeah, you know you got to keep Cam for that purpose, and even like the Jericho Sims mid situation, you know, one of them could stay, one of them could go.
Yeah.
I think the front office might do a good job of replacing either or. So
I think an honorable mention for bad contract has to be Kemba as well. An honorable mention.
It wasn't even that bad. Well, how much did he get?
8.7.
It's not his fault he didn't play. Tibbs ain't want him to play. Like Derrick Rose never came back, and Tibbs still couldn't find minutes for Kemba Walker. Like,
that was crazy.
You know what? All you fans that are out there hating on my boy, the big BX, and you know, like, nah, man, yo, Kemba, rest up. I hope you kill. I hope he comes to guard half 50. Like, that's all I want. Like, somebody let him go off. Like, oh yeah, you're going back to the Garden tonight. Do your thing.
Like, let him off the leash, right?
Every basket, just look over at Tibbs, like.
And do you know what's crazy about that statement is the fact that he might still be the Knicks coach starting the season.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And to me, in all honesty, he's been the biggest liability of the whole season. His lack of adjustments. Like he's playing, you know what I'm saying? Like the lack of ability to tailor an offense around your player's skill set. You know, like you got guys that run. Do you know what I'm saying? Like borrow from somebody. Look at old Suns tapes. They're just running. Run. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Thibodeau.
Yeah,
yo,
it's just
like,
dude, you gotta get creative. Like, look at your guys. You got young thoroughbreds who want to run, and you're stifling them in a half-court set. Like,
I get it. Julius Randle got your coach of the year. But at some point, you got to start counting easy baskets. You got to start counting tough shots. You got to start counting the field goal percentages. Like, what brand of basketball are we watching, man? Like,
it's not even 90s. It's just low IQ. Like,
honestly speaking, this ain't
low IQ.
This ain't a highlight reel. Like, I want to see some easy baskets.
Yeah, it's just really low IQ basketball that people were playing. And
how right?
And I felt bad for the youth that they're like trying to figure out this stagnant offense, and in their heads they're like, this is just not working. But they got a coach over there that's like, rotate, you know, with his stupid Tibbs voice. You gotta rotate it. All this dumb shit that he said.
27% field goal percentage. 27th in the league in field goal percentage, 43.7%. 26th in the league in scoring, 106 points per game. Like, Tom, this is a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke.
And we were 8th in turnovers, which is great. Like, how do you not turn the ball over? And you just can't score.
Yeah, it was just bad. It was bad. It's just the coach's inability to create something or to even reach out. You know, or even borrow
lineups in place where it's just like, all right, we're running.
Right.
You gotta get more. We're running.
Definitely.
There's no reason that Julius Randle 35 minutes, 41% field goal shooting. Like, no star player, no go-to guy should be shooting that low.
Definitely.
RJ Barrett, 40.8% field goal percentage. Sorry, RJ, you sucked on that. All the points are cool. Until you get that shooting percentage up, you don't get no awards from me. Evan Fournier, supposed to be a shooter, 41.7% field goal percentage, 38 from three, but still, like, you can't get a layup. You can't shoot twos. Like, that's ugly.
Right.
Rose, 44. You only played 26 games. Alec Burks, even though he shot 40 from three, 39%. Like, Jesus. Kemba, 40%. Emmanuel Quickly, 39.2%. Guess who's the next guy? 17 minutes per game, shooting 53%.
Obi. Right? It's Obi, right?
Man. He needs to start a team. Sign, sale, delivered. Make Obi the go-to guy, and then we'll figure the rest out later.
You know,
that is madness, man.
You know what's crazy?
Robinson.
He would do very well in Phoenix. He would just be
yourself. We gotta be
no way. He would do very well in Phoenix. I'll be honest with you. Because it's or Golden State, like a team that just free flows, pace and space, gets out on the break. Because that's what you need him to do. Like he scored 42 points in that final game, and it was just like, this is the Obi that you could have probably saw.
I'm gonna I gotta start looping that on my YouTube. I'm just let that joint play. I'm letting the last game play continuously till next season.
Clearview said worst contract of this year. Anything that pays Tibbs from NYC. I agree. In fact, you know what? Nerlens Noel, you get the honorable mention. Coach Tibbs is the worst contract by far. I agree. Clearview, you are a very wise man. So, the final topic, and these were some great topics, by the way. Great job, because I wasn't sure. I was going to talk playoff basketball tonight, but he came in the clutch, as always. Came in the clutch. So, we're talking the draft, right? So I'm on my favorite website, NBADraft.net. If you're ever looking at AAU ballers, college ballers, you're looking at overseas guys, this is your site. And they do mock drafts. They got future mock drafts. They got all of the drafts from the past. I mean, this is an amazing site. I hope it gets the traffic it deserves. Because, and they've been following guys like Edwards and Jalen Green for years. Like when they were in sophomores in high school, this site was definitely educating people. So if we're talking about the Knicks, right? So the Knicks, for this year's mock draft, they got the Knicks picking 12th. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping Ty Washington kind of falls to them, or maybe Ty Washington is amazing. Like he would be.
He can't save his life,
but you need a distributor, my brother. Everybody else can shoot. You need a distributor, and he's a distributor. To be honest with you,
Tibbs is gonna find a way to mess it up.
Very true. Very true. Honestly, I mean, this is a year where Jaden Ivey kind of sprang to the top. And Jaden Ivey's good, but
he's solid. He's not a pro guard. He's not an NBA point guard.
Yeah.
He's a great guard. He's a pro guard. He's not an NBA point guard. Well, he's an NBA point guard. I don't think his athleticism does well.
He's a shooting guard to me, number one. And number two, I just don't see him as if this was last year, he'd be in the mid round. Be honest with you. To me, in my opinion. If you're looking at last year's draft to this year's draft, he would be a mid-rounder. And this year, the talent is just, it's all projects. Chet Holmgren, project. He has to eat. By the way, Clearview, and get ready for this, coach. Brace yourself. Or maybe not, because I think you might agree. But Daniel Clearview said, call me crazy, but I see more upside in Obi than Zion. What do you think?
You know what? I do not like embracing players that are not playing. He's not on the court. He's useless.
Yeah.
But Zion's
healthy?
Zion is shifty.
Yeah.
He's strong. He has vision. Zion never looked as nervous as Obi looked, when Tibbs put him out there. Yeah. Zion never looked like that. So his ceiling seems
When he's healthy,
a smidge higher
yeah,
based off his athleticism and his confidence.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Obi's ability to score,
yeah,
like just being able to like just go out there and get it done. They both need that in between game. You know, like everything is not going to be a strong finish. Everything is not going to be a three.
yeah.
But I think Zion at this moment has more moves whenever he gets back out there, being able to spin.
I mean,
slip and slide.
I mean, it's an opinion. I think Obi is gonna get paid in this league. I think he has definite upside.
Obi's floor might be a slightly higher, but Zion's ceiling
at this point.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Because because Zion's on the bench looking a bit chunky. And we don't know if that's in revolt
like
of getting off the Pelicans or
the guy looked like an all-star before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Again.
Totally. Yeah, definitely. And he might just be he might just be trying to get out of New Orleans.
Sad.
You know?
But
that's the culture. That's the culture now that we deal with. But getting back to the draft, to be honest with you, I just don't see
trade down. Yeah, go to the full list.
Yeah, I just don't see so this is the 20. Oh, sorry, this is 20. That's next year. Shout out to Victor Wembanyama, by the way. Dope Frenchman. That French, he's got to put on some weight, but that kid's got some moves. But if you're looking at the full draft, it's not a lot. And I mean, it's a lot of projects. I mean, Jaden Hardy, decent. Nikola Jovic is an interesting prospect. Max Christie, shout out to the Christie family, of course. Solid. Kennedy Chandler is another guy who can play. Caleb Love, another guy. G Montero.
Not a fan of Caleb Love.
No?
I mean, he's great, but he has he had a lot of Jaden Ivey, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I agree.
Good at attacking, not the best facilitator, but in open space, should be able to play well. I'm not going to say dominate because dominating is a thing. So he should be able to play well.
Like if you've been watching, Kendall Brown of Baylor had somewhat of a solid year. But the rest of these guys, like Orlando Robinson, he's cool, but he's a project. Mark Williams, project.
Yeah.
Shaden Sharp, he's good. But if this was last year, he'd be a late first round draft pick.
We'll see how workout goes. And it's like they come in with like so much skill. I just need to see who has the vision, who has the poise.
Jordan Hall of St. Joseph. I mean, they got him going to the second round. Michael Foster of the G League. Michael Foster is a strong kid. Yeah. Iverson Molinar. You got some guys that, that really, Gabe Brown of Michigan State, Patrick Baldwin. Wow, he's fallen to the second round. He was a high draft pick at one point.
He came out strong early on in the season.
Yeah.
Faced the floor.
Mm-hmm.
He could create his own shot.
I would say Patrick Baldwin should probably stay in college another year.
I mean,
but he's probably trying to get that bag though.
Exactly.
I ain't blaming him. But
there's a lot of trade-offs. Like, do you want to be the man, or do you want to figure out how to fend for yourself?
Yeah. Because I mean, hypothetically speaking, if he goes to Indiana, I mean, as a second round draft pick, you got 1 year that's guaranteed and that's it.
Summer league, G League, a lot of these guys make it.
Yeah, it's a how do you say? It's a gamble. I think a kid like Patrick Baldwin could probably benefit from another year. What's another year? You know what I mean? Like you're not looking, you're not. And the good thing is that they can test the waters without, so a lot of this may change. But Patrick Baldwin,
NIL deals.
If it's not if you're not in the first round, not in the first 30, why bounce around and struggle? Like, listen, you re-up that meal card, go to the calf, you get those, you know what I'm saying? You get those greasy burgers.
Make calls, get some more endorsements.
Exactly. You can get some money in college, like just do your thing. Like,
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just, it's just not a good draft, man. And I don't see
the Knicks are like definitely trading down again seems perfect to me.
Who would you want on the Knicks?
Actually, time out. Don't trade down, trade out. Trade out. Like, you got Deuce, you got Grimes, you got Jericho Sims, you got RJ still, you got Quickly, you got Obi. That's like 5-6 guys already that need to be in your rotation. So trade out, package this pick, package Mitch if you don't want to keep him, package Julius Randle at all costs. I'm sorry, Julius.
Yeah.
Appreciate
and that would pull something. That would actually pull a good player.
At the very least, get a veteran guard that's gonna play defense and man the situations well. So
yeah, totally.
And the Tyus Jones of the world, if you could sneak, you could or even Trey at this point, if you could sneak Anthony Simons away, that'd be clutch. If you could sneak and get Terry Rozier, that'd be clutch. And then if you could get Colin Sexton, that'd be clutch. And at least we're trying something out, and then we're minimizing the rotation guys. So package up all these assets. Shout out to Mr. Rose because we got some assets.
So these are upcoming free agents, 2022. You got some guys with player options.
I'll take Rubio.
Would you though?
Yeah. At this point, yeah.
Okay. If I'm looking at anybody,
look at Tyus Jones, ladies and gentlemen. That's the best we can do at the moment.
It's just, I don't think the Knicks have a bad team, man. I think they just have bad coaching. I think it comes down any of these guys, you plug them in, and I don't think they do as good as if they went to another team. It's just the optic. We got a guy that just doesn't.
Scary thoughts, man. It is scary hours out here when you think about who you bring in. As long as Tibbs is coach,
right?
Yeah, we're gonna.
It's bad, man. It's
pandemic is over. Basketball's back.
It's defeating. It's really what it is. It's defeating because you're you want to be able to hope that you can get a guy and it'll come in and it's going to change things. But Tibbs is the immovable object. He is the immovable object of all this. And no matter what you got, because you're definitely right. I agree. Why do you need to add more youth? Trade this pick and Julius, and if you could package Mitch and get either a quality 4 or a quality 3.
We're not going to get anything. We're not going to get anything of equal value. So it's
no. But quality. Quality.
You gotta find that diamond in the rough.
I think Lillard isn't a stretch anymore. I think that's a possibility. That's a strong possibility now, because especially when Portland wants to move him.
That's not bad, but
the number 12 pick, a quality 4 Julius and Mitch. Come on, you're back in the playoffs next year if you're Portland. Let's be real. You're back in the playoffs because they got the right kind of coach.
Yo, Chauncey must say no. Hell no.
Yeah, without a doubt. They got the right kind of coach out there. It makes sense. And if that's shooting for the stars too much, there's plenty of guys out there that you can make a move for that that's close to that value, because that's a great trade for a lot of teams.
If the Spurs were thinking about starting Pop, you could retire. Let Julius be somebody else's headache. Like, just blow up the whole team at this point. And I'll take DeJounte Murray.
Oh man.
If at all possible. You could have everyone that we named. Kimba, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, the pick.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally.
Call it a
day. But I think the major move has to be Tibbs. And if they don't get rid of him, I just don't see prosperity in the future.
If the Bucks do not win, I pray Drew Holiday is available. I pray.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a bad.
He's a solid player.
But Julius on Milwaukee would be kind of scary, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's a scary prospect, because
and give him
him coming off the bench, or he starts at the 5. Or I mean, he most likely come off the bench, but him coming off the bench for them, that's a scary prospect. Like, I know, because as much of the slack that we're giving Julius, he's not a bad player. He can't be the focal point. And I always think back to when KD was on he was on what's his name, on CJ McCullough's podcast. This was like 2 years ago, right? And I mean, KD did him dirty on his own podcast. He was like, "Y'all not beating us. Like, cut it out." Hey, he was right. Like, Portland they think they swept them that year, or it wasn't a matchup. But he told him, he was like, "Yo, CJ, you would be a great 6 man." CJ's like, "Oh, what are you talking about? I'm getting 100 mil." And KD's like, "See, that's the issue with people in this league." He's like, "Guys think that they're better than what they are." And he's like, "And I'm not trying to dish you, because you are good." He said, "But you ain't, you would be a great 6 man on a great team. You'd be a great 6 man. You'd win a chip, and that's what we're talking about, right?" And Julius would be a great 6 man on a winning team. Or
Julius Randle off the bench. Your understudy is ready. 3 Obi is no longer, like, that's it. It's done. He's free now.
Yeah, totally, man. I don't know, but either way, my brother, this has been a great show. I appreciate you for making it.
Super producers.
Shout out to Ed Dollars and Wall Street Heck. Ed couldn't make it. He's en route back to the States. Wall Street called out sick, using his sick days. So yeah, we'll holler at you, Wall Street. But you know what I'm saying? But shout out to you coming in the clutch. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to Clearview Daniel, or Clearview's parting quote. Tibbs will find more creative ways to blow games.
It is sad. It's sad
that we're even saying that, right? Because that's real. It's a real thing. And just shout out to basketball, playoff basketball, man. And listen, STK, surviving the Knicks. And is what we do.
Knicks fans, you made it through the season. You're looking forward to the draft. You're looking forward to Summer League.
There you go.
Keep on.
What's another season, right? What's another season?
Year of our lives.
What's another season, right? Listen, next year. And on that note, we thank y'all for watching. Yes. Wish you guys all well. Take care. Be safe.
Happy
wherever
Easter.
You are.
Blessed to all those families from Brooklyn and all the
Definitely.
tragedies we got going on out here, that bomb in downtown. Someone else got
Yes,
stabbed
sir.
on the train today. Like,
Seriously? Wow.
madness is like ridiculous. So please be safe.
Yeah, be
Stay
safe out there. You know,
healthy. Easter.
stay safe and stay on point. You know, just stay on point, man, because there's a lot of stuff going on out there in New York City we're talking about. But wherever you are, we hope that whether you're in the tri-state or you're beyond, we wish you well. And man, stay tuned. Next week we should be at full strength. We got great playoff matchups that we're going to be talking about. Unfortunately, they will not include the New York Knicks, but they will include the Brooklyn Nets. So
that's the last time we'll say their name for tonight. I gave them a lot of props already. Right? Back on the heat train.
Deservedly so. Deservedly so. But fella, my brother from another, Coach B. Take care. Y'all have a great night, man. And we see y'all next time. Same bad time, same